Yeah.
How can you begin to put into words what you have been through?
It's taking me a while to try to process what I've witnessed, and more importantly, what I know is still going on. For me, the most heart-wrenching thing is that these 30,000 wounded do not have access to the kind of treatment that they need, and that for many of them, their lives are in danger with every passing day because these wounds are no longer being treated or receiving the medical care they need. There are no more hospitals in the northern half of Gaza, and what's left in the southern part of Gaza cannot even begin to cover the needs of these 30,000 wounded.
What has the effect of this conflict been on the children of Gaza that you have encountered?
This has effectively been a war on children. There are now around 8,000 wounded children, 5,000 dead, with another 2,000 thought to be still under the rubble. This is in addition to the hundreds of thousands of mental health injuries and trauma and loss. Before Shifa collapsed, there were over 120 children who were the sole survivors from their families who were wounded and being treated at the hospital. This number is now increased.
Have you experienced any ground for hope for the future?
In the midst of all of this pain and death and destruction, what has been amazing is also these great acts of love that people have for each other, for their kids, for their siblings, for their parents. One of the last patients that I treated in Ahli Baptist before we stopped being able to operate was a 13-year-old boy who had a right above knee amputation in his leg and a severely mangled right hand that needed surgery to save the hand. When I left the hospital, I told his dad where I would be in southern Gaza. As an able-bodied adult, it took me 5 hours walking to get to that hospital in southern Gaza through streets that had been plowed by tanks and bulldozers. 2 days after I arrived in southern Gaza, that boy showed up with his dad. His father had pushed a wheelchair with the boy on it through these plowed streets for over 5 hours to get to me so that he can ensure that I follow up with his child and I continue to provide the care that his child needs. It's these heroic or even super heroic acts of love are just, this is one of many stories. And it's that this love that will get people through in that darkness that they live through.
What has sustained you throughout?
What sustained me throughout is the knowledge that whatever happens and whatever the personal outcome, that this has been a life well lived, and that this was the right decision to be there and to be for the people who were suffering. For me, that was the critical point. At no stage, even those nights when the shelling was so heavy that I thought that we would not see the light of day, at no moment did I ever regret being there.
What can faith communities do to help now?
Faith communities through the church and through Ahli Baptist Hospital can play their role in trying to rebuild the health sector. The attack on Ahli Baptist Hospital damaged big parts of the hospital and took them out of service. When we, with the help of the staff at Al-Ahli, rebuilt part of the hospital within days of the massacre, we were able to only get 2 operating rooms functioning again. and the ground floor wards. When I left, there were over 500 wounded patients in the grounds of the hospital. Supporting the Ahli Baptist Hospital to get back on its feet as early as possible, to get its maternity services as early as possible, to get its operating rooms up and running again, to treat the wounded as early as possible, is the most important thing that faith-based communities can do at this moment. They have a conduit with which they can channel their work, and it is that Baptist Ahli Hospital.